Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Made with Love. My name is Heather and today is Tuesday, December the 10th of 2024. That makes today my 9th day of my 12 days of Christmas sewing. So yesterday I made pet stockings. Today I'm going to make the stockings for my kids. So it's going to be a little bit different. I mean, I've still got my template that I had used for my pets. I think it's going to be a little bit too big for the material I'm using for my kids. But for my kids, I am going to use the faux fur trim on the top of the stockings, as well as each of the kids are going to be done a little bit different, like what I'm using for the front and the backs of their stockings. So a couple of years ago, I found these pieces of material from Dollarama, or no, not Dollar Tree. That's where these were. The Crafter's Square. So yeah, Dollar Tree. So I found a couple of these with the, it's like a soft fur kind of faux fur thing with these. This one's got the silver feathers, and then I've got a couple of them that had the colored feathers. So I'm going to make my girls with the colored feathers, and I'm going to make my son with just the silver. I think I bought like 6 of these ones with the color and then 2 with the silver. I had another craft I want to do with them, so I'm saving the other ones aside for my other project. And then for the backs of them, I'm going to do something a little bit different. So for my son, I have this white chamois from the Dollar Tree. Yeah, this one's from Dollar Tree. So just one of these like white chamois. It's just a nice soft one. And then for my girls, I've got different claws that I've bought at a liquidation place for $1. So I've got 2 that have this snowflake and Christmas tree pattern. So I'll use that for 2 of my girls. And then I have this one that has this really interesting rainbow on it. So this is what I'm going to be using. So I'm going to start with, I'm just going to start by getting all this organized. So first thing is I'm going to start with this one. Now I'm just double checking because some of these had, what was it, this one? Was it one of these colored ones? It has a strip that looked a little funny that I have to trim off. Oh, yes. So you can see the way that these material is. It's got this long strip right here that doesn't have any feather. So I don't want, anywhere on my stocking to have this big white space. I'm not going to trim it yet because I know that this is the type of stuff that frays when you start to trim. So I will make sure that however I line up my stocking, that this will be probably along one of the cut sides, so I won't have to, cut into it yet till after it's been stitched, but I just want to make sure that this is not like in the center of my stocking. Let's see, do these ones have it as well? I thought there was, yeah, these ones, this one also has it, where it's got this huge long, like you can see where the edge of the feather is, and then there's like nothing above it. And I was going to trim those off, and I thought, no, I don't want to trim those. But with that being said, it now makes my material like different sizes, and I can just see that obviously if I just hold up this to this, you can see that the foot part, you can see how much of the foot is not going to be in here. So I'm going to trim my pattern down a little bit, just so I know that it's going to fit. Or maybe I just have to pull it up. Yeah, I'm not going to touch the foot part. I'm just going to trim off the extra stuff from up at the top. So I'm just going to lay this flat and just see where it's going to fit best on my material here. And I will rotate my camera in just a second. I just have to try to figure this out myself. So yeah, so for this one, again, I just do this. So this one here's got this big white stripe here. So if I put the foot, the toe right there, then this is going to be, cut off. But I also want to make sure that there is enough this way So then I've got enough material this way, but just having it, so I just don't want this big white stripe somewhere. Okay. So let's see if I just grab my scissors here, I'm just going to trim this a bit. Just trim this a bit. And then trim this off, I think about this amount, like that. Let's see, if I lay this now down on the pattern, oh yeah, I still have to trim just another little bit, but that's okay. As I said, each of my patterns or each of my pieces of material is going to be a different size, so I'm going to leave it up here this size, and then I just kind of piece together and fit or cut how it's going to work. So I'm just going to get my material here lined up with which is the front of them and which is the backs of them. Sewing machine quick yet. Put that out of the way. So I think I'm going to start with just this easiest one here. Trim off or cut off the little tag here. That didn't quite work. There. I'm going to figure out which I want as my front. So I want this softer, fluffier side to be the outside. So I'm just going to put it there, like that. I'm just going to pin these two pieces of material together. And now I'm just going to trim away this extra bit of this other material. Where have I put my template? Oh, it fell on the floor. So I'm just going to stick my template here. Just trying to see how I can get most of the stocking on here. Like that. And then I'm going to just take a Sharpie and I'm gonna pin my pattern. If I don't, it's gonna slide on me. So I'm just gonna trace. Already got it. I'm just gonna trace this with the Sharpie. Like that. I'm just going to pin this here. I'm not even going to cut my material. I'm actually just going to sew it straight like this. With this type of material, I think it's just easier to just pin it, and I'm just going to stitch right around my line, although I'm looking at this line and I'm like, I really would like this toe to be more noticeable. I'm just gonna there, like that. I think that's going to be a little bit better. It's going to be a sharper curve than the ones I made yesterday. Like I said, you always learn something when you make something. You do some sewing. I made 3 yesterday. You know, you figure it out. You see what your mistakes were. You watch some more videos on how to do it, how to sew, and then you kind of change how you do everything. So I'm gonna do a zigzag stitch. Turn this to 4, and I said I don't touch these, so I've got my zigzag stitch. My position is 1.4. My stitch length, I believe that's what it is 3.5. My tension is on 3. I'm still using lilac colored thread. Okay. Get this under here. And I'm going to do a little bit of a back stitch to both the openings, both my starting and ending places, I mean. So I'm just going to stitch right on my line that I have made. So I'm just a little closer to me as I'm going around this corner. This pin. Just going to go around this corner and up, and I'll be back when I get this done, and then I can get the other 3 pinned and stitched. So my thread just snapped on me, so I will be back in just a few moments. Okay, so I've got them all stitched. So I'm going to unpin and cut them out. Cutting as close as I can to the stitches without cutting into the stitches. Some of them I'm keeping a little bit further away. I can cut in a little bit closer in a minute. I'm just going to get rid of as much of this excess material as possible. Like I said, this is the type of material that once you start cutting, it just frays and you get little bits of faux fur everywhere. Here's the first one. Let's see if it worked. As I say, it looks really good inside out, but let's see how it looks right side. Tuck in the toe, flip it out, give it a little shake. Get these corner pieces out. Get the toe out, the heel out a little bit more. That's looking more like a stocking, better than the ones I did yesterday for the pets. Now I'm just going to trim this off up here. There. So there is one. So now I'm just going to cut out the other three. And then I will be ready to do the, oops. Just gotta cut some of these loose threads. I'm just gonna cut out the other three, get them the right size. And then I will be able to do the filing. So that's gonna be the little cuff part. And I wanna make the cuff part on these out of the faux fur. So I'm just gonna get these other ones just about cut into the stitches. So I will be back in just a couple of minutes. It's not gonna take too long to get these cut out and right side. So I've got them all here. I've got one facing, like the toe facing to the right. The other three, the toes are facing to the left. I guess it was just however I pinned and traced, and I think that's fine. Now I wanted to add this faux fur trim to these. And I was just trying to debate what would be the easiest way for me to attach these. I think I'm going to do this, attach these the way I attached the ribbon to the pet stockings yesterday. I think I'm just going to hot glue this on. So I'm just going to that amount. I'm just going to quickly just cut out a few of these. Now I know I'm cutting it wrong. I'm supposed to cut from the back, and with my little X-Acto knife, but I don't know where it is, so I'm just going to trim this with scissors. I already have enough of this faux fur everywhere. I don't mind a little bit more. Three, and let's see. Yes, I got 4 pieces out of here. Okay. Just gonna grab my glue gun. I'm gonna close up my safety pins or straight pins before I tip them everywhere again. Okay, just gonna move stuff out of my way. Making sure that I've got the fur going down. Flip this to the side, and I'm going to attach the fur. I'm going to attach it, and I'm going to glue it to the back to get nicely lined up. I'm just going to put a strip of glue along here. This here, and fold it into the back. There. Like that. So now this one's got the fur. And then I will trim, once the glue has dried, I will trim any of the extra material. And then I'm also going to glue a little bit more of the trim onto the stocking itself. But there's one. Another one. Just making sure the fur is facing downward. Put the stocking here. Need a little more glue. It's 2 done. I'm getting good at doing some of these things. Made enough of them. It was a couple of years ago I made a couple for my pets, and I never made any for my kids. So this will be the first time making stockings for any of my kids. Fur everywhere in my glue gun now. That's okay. I do have more glue guns. They're just packed. And then last one. So now set this one's aside. Just restack these. So I'll come back to the first one that was kind of glued, but realize that this fur did not get glued all the way down. The first one I did, I know I didn't put the same amount of glue as the other ones. As I did them, I was adding more glue. Okay, so I'm just gonna go and trim this extra material from inside. It's not noticeable on the outside. What I was supposed to do was glue, or not glue, sew the fur trim at the same time I was sewing, and I kind of forgot. That's how I was going to do it, but you know, that's okay. Hot glue works good too. Now I'm just gonna finish fixing the fur on these ones, just gluing it down in place. I'm just trimming this extra material that you can see. And then I gotta make the hangers for them. Oh, do not cut yourself when you're cutting fabric, that hurts. And the last one, just gotta more or less, I'm just trying to cut some of this colored material, or this one here had the seam from the other one was still visible. So just trim that up. So now I'm just going to go and get, oops, just this little more glue right here. Just going to grab a ribbon. I've got this one here. It's in white. I thought I had another one. I don't see it. I just need a small little hammer, so I'll just do it about here. So I'll make 4 of these. Just make the little loops. Except when you get glue stuck everywhere, then you're just gonna drag it with you. And these ones get a little hanger on the opposite side. Glue these other 2 hangers on these ones, and then I will be upstairs and show you them displayed hanging off of my china cabinet. So I've got them hanging up just along my china cabinet here. And so that is everything I've made so far for Christmas. So my 12 days of Christmas ornaments, and so far day 9, I believe. Yeah, day 9 of my 12 days of Christmas sewing. So 3 more days of Christmas sewing, and then I will be starting on my Christmas baking. Again, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who's subscribing to my channels and watching my videos, and I'll see you in the next ones. Bye.